I'm going to introduce you to Darren France, who is the project manager for the Restoration Trust, who will be able to welcome you.
Thank you all for joining us. It's wonderful that we've come to this point in the Change Minds project, and I'm sure you'll find today's session fascinating, informative, and hopefully inspiring, with a view to exploring change minds further yourselves or with your partners and organisations. Could I just have my first slide, please, Victoria? Thank you. I'm just really giving a brief introduction because I was thinking, well, in terms of introducing the Restoration Trust, what we're all about and what we do, really there's quite a bit to be said, and I can't do it briefly. But one of our participants, Chris Smith, has done a wonderful job of introducing the Restoration Trust and what it means to people, what it does, and what it feels like. So I'm going to very quickly move on to Chris's video in a moment. But I've just used these first three slides as an introduction. We're undertaking a strategic review at the moment of the Restoration Trust, and recently one of the roundtable events, in partnership with the Culture, Health and Wellbeing Alliance, was attended online by a great many people. And one of the things we explored there was the sort of value and relevance of culture therapy, as we call it at the Restoration Trust, in health and well-being and creative health as a whole. So can I just move on to my next slide, please? And I've taken some quotes here from people who've taken part in projects with us. I don't really need to read them. You can take a quick glance at them. The images actually are really interesting. The images from our Archaeology for Wellbeing project, and these are at Warham Camp in North Norfolk, actually. Many of our explorations of either ancient landscapes or ancient buildings and spaces and places, archives, they involve creative activities, and this creative activity here is reflected in these beautiful blue butterflies that were released into the landscape. If you've read some of those quotes, I think they speak volumes. And I'll just move on to the next slide, please. And again, this speaks for itself. This is a banner which represents a group of people that came together over 2 years, actually, with our Heritage Link Worker project in Great Yarmouth and Waveney. And the words underneath they represent some of the experiences that people had, and some of the opportunities coming out of those experiences. One of which has significantly been volunteering with either ourselves or other organisations in creative health, in arts, culture and heritage spaces. So now I've said enough, and I'm going to move on to a really heartfelt introduction from Chris Smith. And here's Chris's video. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christopher Smith. I'm a participant and volunteer with the Restoration Trust, and this is My Creative Wellbeing Journey. In the beginning, when I first came to the Restoration Trust, I was struggling to cope with day-to-day living. I had lost all sense of purpose and identity. I was at my lowest ebb and stuck in a rut. I was diagnosed at that point with anxiety and depression. I was experiencing physical health issues and had an emergent disability, with having recently been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. On top of all of that, I was experiencing financial difficulties, money worries, debt, having relationship issues, and feeling very socially isolated and lonely. and I was having feelings of not wanting to be around anymore. But luckily, the Restoration Trust was there for me. I was referred to the Restoration Trust's Heritage Link Worker project in the summer of 2022. Initially referred by the support worker at my local NHS mental health cafe, which is the Steamhouse Cafe in Galston, Norfolk. I had an initial one-to-one meeting with the Heritage Link worker, who was able to get me on board, give me a brief overview of what to expect from the project, and also really keen to find out from me my background and also what I would hope to achieve by joining in. At this point, the project was in its infancy, and I was lucky to attend from the very first meeting. The early sessions were welcoming, supportive, and inclusive, and enabled me to feel happy to keep coming back. The great thing about the sessions for me was that they were free at the point of access, so no upfront costs, nothing that I needed to pay to take part, and my transportation and refreshments were all provided, which again meant I could come along to the groups without worrying. A good mix of people with diverse backgrounds and stories involved in the groups. The focus of the sessions was actually on the heritage experience and not on mental health itself. So that helps to kind of take you outside of yourself and give you something to kind of put your mind onto that's not your day-to-day worries. So that's really good. Moving on to kind of my continued engagement with the trust, I'm continue to have ongoing involvement with the Heritage Link Worker project, although we now refer to it as Heritage for Wellbeing. The sessions are always mentally stimulating. Nothing's ever dumbed down. I have been along to some sessions that are under the guise of mental health that are kind of a bit like cutting and sticking, and I don't always enjoy those sort of crafty type sessions, but these sessions are really quite good. Tailored to support individual interests and nurture individual talents. Really relaxed social environments. The group is democratically organised with flexible engagement, so you don't have to come along every time. You can kind of dip in and dip out, which is great. Lots of opportunities to become involved, to volunteer, to facilitate sessions. I've been personally involved with curating exhibitions and delivering presentations on behalf of the Trust. I've been made to feel valued as a stakeholder, helping to shape the future of the project and the Trust. I've particularly enjoyed when we've had opportunities to work with partner organisations on spin-off projects, for example, Archaeology for Wellbeing with the Sainsbury's Centre at the UEA, and Living in Changing Landscapes with the Norwich University of the Arts. We've done so many other great pieces of work with partners such as the National Trust. We've got a piece coming up with the National Centre for Writing, all sorts of people who've helped us along the way. In terms of what the Restoration Trust does for me, and I've touched on this at the previous roundtable event, so apologies if I'm going over these things again, but the four kind of key strands for me that I think that the Restoration Trust does really well. Creativity. Within the sessions, there is space allowed to enable participants to develop creatively, responding to the heritage in creative ways, not necessarily prescriptive, but ways in which the individuals themselves kind of feel ready and willing to respond. Applying and sharing creative skills may be picked up from elsewhere, collaborating, experimenting and innovating, showcasing and nurturing talents, pursuing those individual interests and projects, and learning from one another. We try and pick up on each other's skills, each other's inspirations, and how we each creatively respond to the world around us. The second aspect is connection, highlighting and strengthening the connections that we have with our history, our heritage, and drawing parallels with those people's lives lived long ago and our own lives today, bringing us closer to the natural world, to our shared environment and our local community, helping us to see the beauty in the world and to recognise our place within it. Then coming on to the third aspect, which is community. Within our group brings together people from diverse backgrounds, creating a sense of belonging, promoting tolerance, respect, giving people agency and purpose, creating a sense of camaraderie, developing relationships beyond the group, looking out for and supporting one another, and that goes into all aspects of our lives, enabling collaboration and team working. And then the fourth aspect is well-being, elevating our mental health, our well-being, promoting our physical health, encouraging us to develop and adopt active lifestyles, healthy eating, reducing the need for medication, for medical intervention, tackling isolation and broadening our horizons. In the here and now, as a result of the work that the Restoration Trust has done with me, I'm better able to manage my day-to-day living. I have a much clearer sense of who I am and my purpose. I have a greater sense of flow. I'm no longer stuck in a rut. My anxiety and depression are still there, although they're better controlled and less dominant in my life. I'm learning to live with my disability and to manage my life to find fulfillment despite my illness. I'm making slow but steady progress in improving my financial situation, and I'm managing my personal relationships much more effectively. Life is just much more fulfilling, full and rich. In the future, I hope to be able to continue to receive the ongoing support of the Restoration Trust, helping me to continue to improve my mental health. I hope that the Restoration Trust can secure funding to continue to provide the services that it does today, but also I hope that it's able to scale up its operations to support even more people through its unique approach to creative health and well-being. I hope that I can put something back into the future of the Trust, sharing my experiences, repaying the debt of gratitude that I owe. I hope you enjoy your day today, and I look forward to hearing all of the different discussions and comments that you have today. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.